Is there anything more uncomfortable in professional sports than a breakup that everyone knows is happening, but neither side has actually packed their bags yet? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are staring down the barrel of a very specific, very awkward deadline in South Philadelphia, and the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. We need to talk about Nick Castellanos, and more importantly, we need to talk about why next Monday represents a line in the sand that the Philadelphia Phillies simply cannot cross. The clock is ticking, the rumors are swirling, and the front office is scrambling. Why? Because the first official full squad workout is scheduled for Monday, and if Nick Castellanos walks into that clubhouse wearing red pinstripes, it's going to be a disaster of epic proportions. Let's set the stage here. This isn't a sudden development. This is the culmination of months of friction, underperformance, and a relationship that has clearly run its course. We've known since the end of last season, thanks to reporting from Matt Gelb at The Athletic, that the organization was looking to move on. But now, we are in the 11th hour. Dave Dombrowski, the president of baseball operations, isn't even hiding it anymore. When a seasoned executive like Dombrowski publicly admits, "We're doing everything we can to make a decision by Monday," and then abruptly says, "I'll leave it at that," you know the situation is critical. He's practically shouting from the rooftops that they need a resolution, and they need it now. Imagine the scene on Monday morning if a deal isn't done. You have a veteran player who knows he's unwanted, a manager in Rob Thomson who has clashed with him, and a roster that has already moved on by signing Adolis García. It's the definition of a distraction. The Phillies are trying to build a championship culture focused on winning the World Series, not managing the bruised ego of a fading star. Keeping Castellanos on the 40-man roster through spring training would be a massive failure of management. It would cast a shadow over Clearwater, forcing teammates to answer questions about a guy who shouldn't be there. The front office knows this, the fans know this, and you can bet your bottom dollar Nick Castellanos knows this. The goal isn't just a trade, it's an exorcism of a vibe that has turned sour. We are watching a high-stakes game of poker, where the Phillies are desperate to fold their hand before the dealer flips the next card. To understand why we are here, we have to look at the cold, hard economics and the history of what this contract was supposed to be versus what it actually became. The Phillies aren't looking for a haul of top-tier prospects here. Let's be real, that ship sailed a long time ago. This is a salary dump, pure and simple. Castellanos is owed $20 million for the final year of that 5-year deal. In the modern MLB landscape, $20 million is a significant chunk of change, especially for a player whose production has dipped to league average. Dombrowski mentioned they are continuing to talk to other clubs, but let's decode that. They are begging someone, anyone, to eat just a fraction of that money. Even if a team takes on $5 million, that's a win for Philadelphia. It's money that can be reallocated to the bullpen or saved for the trade deadline in July. Historically, this reminds me of the end of the Ryan Howard era, though obviously Howard was a homegrown legend and Castellanos is a mercenary. But the feeling is the same, a big contract that has become an albatross. If the Phillies can't find a trade partner, the alternative is a straight release. If they cut him, they are on the hook for almost the entire $20 million minus the league minimum of $780,000 that his new team would pay. That is a bitter pill to swallow. It's dead money. It's paying a guy to play against you. That's why Dombrowski is working the phone so hard this week. He wants to save ownership something, anything, to justify the end of this era. And we cannot ignore the human element, specifically the breakdown between Castellanos and manager Rob Thomson. This isn't just about batting average, it's about respect and hierarchy. Last season, things got ugly. Castellanos was benched for a game after making what Thomson called an inappropriate comment when he was pulled for defensive reasons. Think about that. A veteran, highly paid player getting a disciplinary benching in the middle of a pennant race? That is a massive red flag. Then, as his playing time dwindled, Castellanos publicly criticized Thomson's communication skills. Well, the Phillies voted with their checkbook this offseason. They extended Thomson and brought in Adolis García for $10 million to take right field. The message was loud and clear. We choose the manager, and we choose defense. Castellanos is entering his age 34 season, coming off a year where he slashed 250, 294, 400. he's barely replacement level. The Philly Rob era demands accountability, and Castellanos simply didn't fit the mold anymore. Let's dive deep into the numbers because numbers don't lie, even if they hurt feelings. The reality is that Nick Castellanos is a man without a position in Philadelphia. He is arguably the worst defensive outfielder in Major League Baseball. I'm not saying that to be mean. The metrics scream it. In a perfect world, he is a full-time designated hitter. But the Phillies don't live in a perfect world. They live in a world where Kyle Schwarber exists. Schwarber locks down that DH spot, leaving Castellanos exposed in right field, where balls go to die, and not in a good way. With the arrival of Adolis García, who brings a cannon of an arm and legitimate power, the upgrade is stark. Garcia is dynamic. Castellanos has become static. Both Fangraphs and Baseball Reference graded Castellanos below replacement level last year. That means you could theoretically pull a guy from AAA and get better overall production. However, and this is crucial for the trade market, there is still a pulse there. He hit 17 home runs last year. He's crossed the 20-homer mark twice in Philly. His slash line against left-handed pitching is still respectable. For a team desperate for right-handed power, he isn't useless. He's just useless here. The acquisition cost for another team would be essentially zero in terms of talent, and minimal in terms of salary if the Phillies eat the majority of the contract. So, who takes the bait? Let's look at the landscape. The San Diego Padres are hunting for a DH bench bat after missing out on Paul Goldschmidt. They need thump. Then you have the Cleveland Guardians. Their outfield is incredibly left-handed heavy with Manzardo, Valera, and Kefus. No team in baseball got less power from right-handed hitters than Cleveland last year. Castellanos fits that roster construction like a glove. The Miami Marlins? They ranked 25th in slugging from the right side. They have a hole at first base, Chu DH, and Castellanos is a Miami native. It's a homecoming story waiting to be written. Even his old team, the Detroit Tigers, could make sense. Aside from Spencer Torkelson, they are starved for right-handed bats. A platoon role alongside Kerry Carpenter could actually maximize whatever is left in Castellanos' tank. The market is thin, but it exists for a specific role player, which is exactly what Nick has become. We are approaching the finish line of this saga, folks. By Monday, the Philadelphia Phillies roster needs to look different. This isn't just about clearing a roster spot, it's about clearing the air. It's about ensuring that when the team stretches for the first time in Clearwater, the focus is 100% on the future, on Adolis Garcia's integration, on Bryce Harper's leadership, and on getting back to the World Series. Keeping a disgruntled veteran around is a poison pill that this team cannot afford to swallow. Dave Dombrowski is a wizard at navigating these situations, but this might be his trickiest act yet, convincing another GM to help him solve a problem that everyone knows he must solve. If a trade happens, expect the return to be a bag of balls, maybe a low-level lottery ticket prospect, or simply cash considerations. If a trade doesn't happen, expect a swift and potentially costly release. Either way, the Nick Castellanos era in Philadelphia is effectively over. It had its high moments. Those playoff homers will live on in highlight reels. But the consistency and the defense just never matched the paycheck. The page has turned. The team has evolved. And now, the roster must follow suit. I want to hear from you guys in the comments right now. This is the big question. Do you think Dombrowski pulls off a miracle trade by Monday? Or are the Phillies going to have to eat that $20 million and cut him loose? And more importantly, are you happy with Adolis García as the replacement? Let's get a debate going down below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a breaking update. We are going to be covering every single pitch of spring training right here. Until next time, stay passionate, stay loud, and let's go Phillies.